Okay, so I had an idea of transferring my freshman year, actually. And with that, that was more so, I guess, a childish reason of transferring, in the sense that I wanted to transfer because I wasn't getting enough PT.
Of
I
course.
wanted to transfer because I wasn't having a great experience. And I felt like I actually had a long conversation with Coach Danzy at the end of my freshman year, and the conversation consists of, Olivia, are you doing everything that you're supposed to be doing as a player? And so having that conversation, it was more so like I had to take ownership of the things that I needed to do, because you can't change what other people are doing. You can only change what you can do. And so with regards to that, I was just like, listen, I'm just going to flip everything. I'm going to work as hard as we possibly can. I'm going to go into my sophomore season, you know, all of this, all of this, all of this. And unfortunately, I got sick, so I wasn't able to do anything. But during that process, there were some things that had happened that ultimately led to my decision on a business aspect as to why I wanted to leave Maryland. And then I entered the transfer portal at the end of the season. Unfortunately, our team wasn't able to, compete in an NCAA tournament, and I wanted us to go all the way because I know how hard they worked. And I was on the scout team, so I was helping them in practices. So I really wish that we were able to, go all the way. Unfortunately, we weren't because of the pandemic, but I did enter the transfer portal at the end of the season.
Now let me stop
And
you right there. Let me cut you off
okay.
real quick. Explain the process when you say I entered the transfer portal. How do you actually enter the transfer portal?
Oh, okay. So what you do is, you have a conversation with your coach and you kind of just talk through, the decision of why you want to leave and things like that. And it can be a long one, it can be a short one. And then after that, you go to your compliance office and then you tell them, what you want to do, and they send you a form via email. You send it out, you fill it out and send it back, and then they enter you into a transfer portal, which I'm pretty sure it's just like a list of everybody who wants to leave. And if you can contact them or not, talking about coaches that they can contact them, and I want coaches to contact me. So literally, as soon as he clicked me into the transfer portal, I had like maybe 15 colleges that day, which
Wow.
honestly, it was a little overwhelming, but honestly, it was such a blessing because again, I didn't play a lot my freshman year and I didn't play at all my sophomore year, so I wasn't, really sure what how this was going to play out for me or what it was going to look like. But Duke was actually the first college that reached out to me. Um, and then I started hearing from colleges like Dayton, Mississippi State, Boston College, Kentucky, of course. Um, who else? Penn State, Rutgers, Northwestern, just to name a few. Those are just some of the colleges who had reached out to me at the time. And again, this process I took completely differently than the first time around. I
Right.
asked the questions that were necessary. Um, and I might speak about that a little bit because I feel like, when you have young girls, if they're watching this,
Please.
it's important to, what you should be asking. You should be asking about, like, how many people are in your position? What plans do they could potentially see down the line? Um, what does development look like? How are they going to get you, where you need to be? Depending on what you want to do with your future, do they have connections, professionally? And these are just a few of the questions that you ask. And of course, with academics, I mean, academics is very important. So, if you don't know what you want to study, at least make sure you ask them what things are available, how many majors that the colleges has. And so those are just some of the questions that I had gone through during the time. And, transferring from a different school with in terms of like credits and things, like that's a little bit different.
Mhm.
But if you are someone who, you know, is transferring from a different school, make sure you ask about how many credits will be transferring over, and so that you can still graduate on time. So those are just some things that some little nuggets, I guess.